Welcome back to BetterSociety.info. This is our 23rd video in our regular series, and it's a continuation of some videos that are dealing with the clash of ideas. The idea of class-based societies that have been around for thousands of years, and the new idea of having the classless society. And here in the United States, that concept doesn't relate to just class. It also involves the integration of people from all over the world. And as time has gone along in our history, we have gotten better and better about this. And it's my idea, my observation, that has been one of the major contributions to our progress, our being able to become the most productive people on earth. And yes, it's taken us a while. I talked about where we were in 1778 in the last video, and that these ideas of having a classless society, an integrated society, haven't come easy for us. But I think that it is a major reason for our huge productivity, our huge creativity. And we're going to talk about those things even in greater detail later. But we need to understand, what that situation was in 1778. That the guy who was talking in Charleston, South Carolina, said we're going to let all these people in. Well, all of those people from all those different nations, they've been killing each other for generations, hundreds of years. And so all of a sudden, they're all coming over here on these boats, and they're all, coming in to our harbors, and they're being kind of thrown together. And there's all this history of war and killing and hostility and hatred among these people. And so we're expecting to bring them here, and they're going to give up a certain amount of their emotional attachment to their past culture, and they're going to psychologically attach themselves to an idea of a nation that is based upon integration and freedom. And so, that's a new idea in the world, to a certain extent. The fact, though, that we have examples of other great empires of the world, great nations, that have done very, very well, and we have other nations that have not done as well. And a characteristic of the nations that have done really very well is that there has been influx of people from the outside, where they bring a lot of people into their societies, or sometimes the people who come from the outside are there to attack them. I mean, you look at England in its earlier history. I mean, there was all of these different people from Scandinavia and France that came over and fought them, and some of them moved in and lived with them, and 1066, the people came from Normandy and took over the whole government. And so you have a blending of a lot of cultures there. I mean, they were all European cultures, but there's some advantage that we can see there. I mean, the same thing happened in Egypt, Rome, the Persians, and here in the United States. I mean, you get people who have lived in different cultures. There are examples in history where those people are more creative, they're more productive, they develop greater economies, they're more, they get more done. And we look at the nations where they bottle everybody up. I mean, the Greeks are that way. The Greeks saw the whole world as everybody who is a Greek, and they're fine people, and everybody else is a barbarian. Now somebody's going to say, well, they went over and conquered a lot of the Middle East. Well, not the Greeks. It was the Macedonians who did that. They first came down, Philip, of Macedonia came down and conquered the Greeks, and then his son went out and tried to conquer the rest of the world and spread the Greek culture all over the Middle East. So the people who felt like, well, where's us and we're all good and everybody else is bad, they didn't do as well. Eventually they got conquered by the Macedonians. And China's the same way. They try to build a wall around there to keep people out. Japan threw everybody out, wouldn't let anybody in except people who were just Japanese. And of course we have the USSR that eventually collapsed. And their idea was they're going to build this Iron Curtain all around part of Europe and not let anybody go in and out. And of course those examples of nations, they didn't do as well as nations that let folks in. And we've done very well with that. But of course you always have to deal with this issue of tolerance, where you can have people of different cultures, people who still adhere to their cultures, and yet still they're emotionally attached to the nation itself, and everybody learns to function together and do better. And that is an example of something that we if we don't understand that, we really do need to understand it. And so where you have nations that allow different people to come in, different people be involved in their culture, their leadership. Granted, some of these societies that were successful were still class-based societies, but they were societies that allowed the integration of other people's ideas into their ideas. And those nations clearly do better than the people who try to say, this is ours, and we're good and you're bad, and stay out and leave us alone, because those societies don't do as well. And so there's a lot of historical examples that support that idea. And so tolerance of other people's cultures are a key factor in making any nation successful, more successful. And we're working on that in the United States. We still have challenges associated with that, but it's a very important concept that we need to be working on. So I'm a little concerned about what the time is here, and I'm going to sign off, but we will talk about this tolerance issue again in a little bit. Talk with you later.